This is all the truck that you need. I'll include a link to the Nissan and Salt Lake's website in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for Paul. Let's get right into it. This week's giveaway highlight is a classic Corvette with a big block V8. If you're interested, use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. This will give you 4x bonus entries on any donation $25 or more. Powering this is a 3.8 liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic. Fuel economy 17 around town, 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 281 pound-feet of torque. We're closing in on 500,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. I like the hood design on this, very boxy. Even the baseline gets nice looking lights. We also have the Nissan logo in white, and then recovery points at the bottom. I need to rephrase that, recovery point rather. Anyways, that's the front end. Tire wheel setup is 265 by 70 by 16. Yes, 16-inch wheels. You don't see that often. You've got little splash guards on this, and then of course items like the mirror caps and the door handles are going to be unpainted. And the Frontier is still rocking leaf springs, which is more reliable long term. Now the Frontier is actually set a little bit lower to the ground, which means it's easier to get in and out of them. Key fob features, we have our lock and unlock function. You got the Nissan logo as well, and that's the old school key fob. Now taking a look at the tailgate, it's actually dampened. A little too dampened. Come on, buddy. You've got some cargo tie-down points, but other than that, there is not really much happening in the bed. Doesn't even have bed liner, but you can always add bed liner after the fact. That's very easy. And then lifting this up, it's light. Sharp looking tail lights here, and then you can see with the parking sensors there on the bumper. The bumper again has that kind of metallic gray finish. That will cap things off for the exterior of this Frontier. Let's now check out the interior of the Frontier. I like the soft touch here. They actually have more up above too. Cloth seats with this package to be expected with a more baseline truck. Space in the back of a midsize is not going to be super strong, but I do technically fit here because this has a crew cab. That's why I picked out the crew cab for this review, is you could use this as a family car. And then we do have the glass in the back that opens up manually. Let's now check out the front. Mirrors are manual with the adjustment, but they have blind spot monitoring. I think that's hilarious. No acoustic glass with this version, but you do still get automatic front windows and then more soft touch in the door panel. Solid payload, 1,330 pounds. Cloth here with the rest of the seats. The seats are manual with the adjustments. You got your hill descent control, some of the safety tech, cargo lamp, stability control too. The steering wheel has the new Nissan logo. It's going to be more basic with the trim on the outside. Practical controls in the center, including your adaptive cruise control, volume and voice command controls built into this, controls for the center stack in general. So it looks like all the Frontiers pretty much get the same gauge cluster that has the display where you can change what information it shows. It also always shows you what's happening with the drive line and then the auto stop start. Backup camera in reverse, resolution's okay, a little bit potato cam-ish. And then I love the mouse clicking sound. So much nostalgia. But yeah, it's quick to respond. It does have some physical controls there at the bottom. The shut-off for the auto stop starts right next to the drive line select. Part-time four-wheel drive system with a 2-speed transfer case, and then just single zone climate. Some USB ports, parking sensors, and then we've got some cup holders here. Shifter for the 9-speed automatic. It has a manual function. Got a little bit of storage there, and then the center console's got plenty of storage. Nice trim on the top with this. I've got a manual mirror dimmer, and then of course no sunroof with this model. 2026 Frontier S Crew Cab, $38,740. Let's see how the Frontier performs. Time to set off in the base model Crew Cab. I reviewed a King Cab version of this, and a lot of you thought that was really appealing, and I agree with you. But if you got little ones, the Crew Cab is going to be kind of more appealing because you can actually fit them back there. I mean, even this would be a tight fit for a car seat. I don't think you can make a King Cab work for a car seat at all, because it is just too small. And it's good that this is still, I mean, the MSRP price on this is still, in today's standards, pretty darn affordable. Just gonna turn that off. Now the V6, you're gonna have quick response. Again, it's a large displacement NA V6, so it'll give you power right on tap. Lots of power at that. It's very strong. And this is pretty comfortable. Again, 16-inch wheels means you don't actually have a lot of wheel to impact. I mean, the wheel's obviously not touching the road, it's the tire. But when you have much smaller wheels, there's less, there's more, a little bit more sidewall in the tires, right? For the force to go through, but there's less wheel for the force to go through too. When you have really big wheels, it's like a boom, and it's a large area to impact. Whereas this is a very small area, that is for sure. Now, because this doesn't have acoustic glass or anything like that, you can hear kind of the tire noise a little bit more, and you can also kind of hear what's happening under the hood a bit more. I do like the steering quite a bit. It's very, again, it's heavier, but it gives you a lot of feedback in terms of what's happening underneath the truck. So I feel like I'm in control of the truck. And the Frontiers are low to the ground for a truck, so it kind of handles well. And that's what they used to do with old school trucks, right? They used to have them a little bit lower to the ground. Obviously that's a detriment for off-roading, but if you're using it for work, it doesn't matter. It just means it's easier to get in and out of the truck. It's easier to load up the bed too. Doesn't look as cool, but who cares? Trucks aren't meant to look cool, they're meant to do work. Put in the work. I do like they did some soft touch, like on the armrest and the center console, so that it is not like a putting your arm on a brick or something, you know? You know, compared to turbo engines, NA engines do kind of have to work a little bit more because they just don't have as much torque. But they just do it, and they're smooth when they do it, and it just feels right. Just feels right. So that is the Crew Cab S. Let me know if you like this more, the King Cab. But in terms of mid-size pickup trucks, I think this is very appealing. This is pretty much everything you need. Again, this does need bed liner. And I do think that Nissan and some other manufacturers are putting the money in the wrong place, if you ask me. Because why do we have... sorry, I'm trying to figure out where this person's going. Okay. Why do we have a truck with blind spot monitoring, but no, like, power adjustment on the mirrors? Why do we have a truck with blind spot monitoring and it doesn't have bed liner? It seems a little bit weird to me that that's kind of like the modern world values this safety tech so much more than, you know, utility tech like bed liner, right? Which I don't know. I at least I find it kind of strange, and I find the obsession with safety tech also really strange. It's like, if you are paying attention when you drive, you don't. It's nice. I use it. Like I like blind spot monitoring. I'm not saying that it's not worth it, but you know, I'd rather have some other features rather than that stuff. And you know, if you're paying attention, you don't really need it. But what are your thoughts?